It's been known since 1970 that injecting small amounts of hydrogen into an internal combustion engine causes that engine to run cleaner, with more power and lower emissions. The problem has been the hydrogen. It's expensive to produce, costly to distribute, and dangerous to carry on a truck. The HyDrive system solves all these problems by generating hydrogen on board as required in very small quantities and immediately injecting it into the engine's intake manifold. You never have to buy bottled hydrogen, you never have to store it, and you never have to worry about your safety. All you have to do is periodically top up the unit with distilled water. You get all the benefits of hydrogen injection with none of the drawbacks. So why does hydrogen injection work? In a diesel engine, fuel is injected into hot compressed air. The heat causes the fuel to start burning. This burn spreads through the fuel-air mix, creating very high heat and pressure, which drives the piston down the cylinder. If a small amount of hydrogen is injected into the air before the air enters the combustion chamber, the hydrogen disperses through the air. Hydrogen burns more than 10 times as fast as diesel. So after the diesel fuel is injected, it starts to burn. That in turn starts the hydrogen burning. The hydrogen burn spreads through the mixture 10 times as fast as a diesel burn would, and this in turn ignites the diesel throughout the entire mix. In effect, the hydrogen accelerates the rate at which the diesel burns. This causes the fuel to burn faster and more completely. Most of the fuel's latent energy is now converted to useful work, and less is wasted as unburned hydrocarbons, oxides of nitrogen and carbon monoxide. So the engine produces more torque and runs cleaner and cooler on the same amount of fuel. With a HyDrive unit, these benefits are dramatic. Here's how the HyDrive system works. Water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. If water is subjected to an electrical voltage, it can be made to split into these component gases. This process is called electrolysis. The HyDrive unit generates hydrogen by electrolysis of distilled water. It contains a small but highly efficient electrolysis component powered by the vehicle's electrical system. It draws about the same current as the headlights. The unit generates small quantities of hydrogen and oxygen whenever the engine is running. These gases are pressurized and injected into the engine air intake downstream of the turbocharger. The addition of a little extra oxygen is benign. It neither adds to nor detracts from the engine's operation. But as we just saw, the hydrogen makes the fuel burn faster and more completely, extracting more energy from the diesel fuel. The benefits are immediate. Power increases by as much as 6%. Fuel economy is typically 9 to 12% better, but can be much more in some cases. Oxides of nitrogen, particulate emissions, and carbon monoxide are reduced by typically 50% and as much as 80%. Brian Brown says 140,000 pound loads use a lot of fuel. With HyDrive, our fuel usage went from about 4.1 miles per gallon to over 5.2. That's a 27% improvement. Clint Sherman says traveling with an empty trailer on a 600-mile trip, my Qualcomm went to 12.9 miles per gallon. I stopped for a break, zeroed out the Qualcomm, and it went to 12.6 miles per gallon for 147 miles. This truck has never been over 9.3 miles per gallon, so this was phenomenal mileage, a 35% improvement. California Environmental Engineering Company tested a Cummins NTC 400, and they found results showed lower amounts of exhaust emissions and measurable reductions in fuel consumption and exhaust temperatures. Particulate matter was reduced by 81.4% and unburned hydrocarbons by 74.5%. Oxides of nitrogen were reduced by more than 11%. The more complete burn reduces soot and other engine contaminants, which extends the life of the oil and reduces wear on the engine. Build-up of residue on valves and pistons is reduced. In fact, a dirty engine will often be cleaned up after a HyDrive unit is installed. David Willis says normally when removing the cylinder head one would expect to find a hardened carbon buildup on the piston crowns. However, in our International DT530 the pistons could be wiped clean with a paper towel. The HiDrive system can be used on virtually any diesel-powered truck, bus or generator. It typically installs in less than 4 hours. No changes are made to the engine or its controls. The physical unit is mounted anywhere there is space. The hydrogen injection hose is connected to the engine air intake. Electrical power is connected to the alternator. The unit is topped up with distilled water, and that's it. It's ready to run. It's ready to start saving you money and protecting the environment. The system is maintenance free. It merely requires the addition of 2 litres of steam distilled water every 80 operating hours. That's about half a gallon every 3,000 miles. Even the addition of water is automated and foolproof. The HiDrive system is safe. Because power is taken from the alternator, it can only operate when the engine is running. Multiple valves and sensors continuously send information to the control computer. Low water level or any condition outside the normal operating range will automatically shut down the unit. The engine then runs as if the HiDrive unit were never installed. And HiDrive cannot harm your engine. The amount of hydrogen injected is tiny. It doesn't contain enough energy to operate a bicycle. The increased energy comes from the more complete burn of the diesel fuel, not from the hydrogen that's injected. HiDrive makes economic sense because it reduces harmful exhaust emissions while actually saving you money. If you purchase a unit and realize just a 9% improvement in fuel economy, the unit will typically